All right, from the student Fairfax City, we are very grateful that Anne, Claire, and Alex accepted the invitation to our show. Guys, welcome to my humble podcast.
Hello.
Thank you to you. Hello.
How are you? Let's go back to the beginning. Whoever want to answer first or second, that's fine. Let's go back to the beginning. Were you any of you born like in a musical family? How do you start in music to begin with?
I let Anne-Claire begin.
Yeah. Okay. I was about to ask. Yeah, we can say that in a way because when we were child with my brother, I have a brother which is like 8 years older than me, and our parents took us to the conservatory, for classical music, violin, and all that. So we were into music quite young, but at the time the conservatory was a bit like really strict. Nowadays it evolves a bit, but at the time that was still a lot of years ago now, and children were used to cry a lot. Let's say that. So that was more like a trauma at the time because we were children. But now I can say that was really a chance, because I can read music, I can write music, I can. But obviously, when we were teenager, we went into rock and things like that, and my brother was into a rock band, singer and guitarist, and then he made me listening to a lot of classic, So Led Zepp, Clapton, all that, and that's how I went into music actually.
Yeah.
Alex.
Well, for me, I began music at the age of 5. So I began by drums. I'm originally a drummer, and I did for a long time a music school. I never did the conservatory, but I did a drum school, and at the same time, like few years later, I wanted to try something else. Well, not something else, but something added to the drums, which is guitar, because I wanted to compose a lot. Like at a very early age, I wanted to compose, like to play music for composing, and not just for playing. So I studied guitar at the same time at the same school, and after that I began also studying a third instrument, which is piano, but I studied it myself. So after that, well, I did all my scholar thing, like school thing. But as I just have my like lowest degree in school, I quit school to just do music, and I began to play in bands a lot, in different bands, and also teach a lot of music. I'm like, my primary thing is to teach music, and also I began to compose like orchestral music for advertisement, and also animation, and all those kind of things. But also I met Eric, which we will talk after, at a very young age. So after that, there was Nine Skies and everything. I played also a lot of solo work with guitar, acoustic guitar, jazz. I did a metal band as well. So a lot of things.
Wow.
Oh
Wow.
yeah, it's a big melting pot of style, but yeah, like since 25 years, I, I, I I have the privilege to live as a musician, so I'm very grateful for that. So yeah, that's how it started.
All right, that's great. I know I don't play any instrument myself. I don't read music, but I've been around music all my life, so it's uh it's very difficult to be a musician. Mm, sorry about
Yeah,
that.
of course, it's the passion.
And feel free to elaborate or to provide a little biographical and historical info. Who is involved in the band, and how did you guys end up meeting to begin with?
Oh, that's
Well,
we have to come
I
back
let
long time ago. I don't
yeah,
remember which year we formed Nine Skies actually. Maybe
yeah,
2022. I don't remember exactly. Um,
20, 2011 or 2012?
Well, I think that's 10 years, roughly 10 years. I will need to check exactly. But
Yeah.
to tell about the story, it's like we always knew each other. Because as Alex said before, he met Eric, which was my husband, who passed away 2 years ago. And he met him like quite early. He was really young. And they, how to put that in words, they instantly get well along musically, so well. And they never leave one to another, they always stay together. And so obviously after 10 years of things like that, a project was born. And Nine Skies was a project I started initially just with Eric to, launch some ideas. It was more rock, metal than prog. And at some point we said, okay, we need to, focus a bit, make something proper. And we asked Alex to join. And with his idea, the composition became really what Nine Skies is now. So that's kind of prog, rock, jazz, whatever it is. But that's how it started, really, the three of us.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah. But first, you released an EP in 2013, which was just the two of you, like Anne-Claire and Eric. Yeah, which was not the kind of Nine Skies we know since Return Home. Like it was really an EP, which is another style, which was more like maybe gothic or dark wave or
Yeah, dark
yeah,
atmospheric
yeah.
metal. Like I said, yeah, that was, well, whatever it was, but
Yeah.
Understand. So Nice Sky are a French progressive rock band inspired by many influences like rock, pop, classical, jazz. It's a combination of a lot of things. I was listening to all the records and Bandcamp last night, and when I was putting questions for this interview, and it's great music. It's great music.
Thank
And
you.
you have for Return Home until the latest album. Your all the elements are there, right? But you're progressives. You're progressing into different areas as well, which is very very good. How in general, how difficult is to make in general terms, how difficult to make a living as a musician? Because in the progressive rock world, there are so many bands out there, some better than others, but it's very difficult to make a living, right?
Oh, we
As a
don't. We don't. Like we don't live by Nine Skies, of course. Like when I said that I'm living as a musician, like Nine Skies is not. It's really not
small
that.
part.
But, yeah. But we can say that the progressive community and the progressive rock community is very like something solid. It's everyone is kind of in a bubble, and everyone is supporting a lot of bands. So it's really good to have this kind of community that follows. Like it's really passionate about this style of music. It's really something important for the for the
yeah,
band also. Yeah.
we received a great support, yeah, from the community at the beginning. Yeah.
Definitely.
And
Yeah,
actually,
because
that's we have to thank them, because that's you were talking about living and things like that. That's thanks to the support of all the people that we were able to release our album, because we each time made crowdfunding, to be able to record and to pay the cost to press the album and all that. So
yeah,
that's thanks to them that we can still able to to do album as well.
yeah, making an album is very expensive, and the only way to recover that investment is to tour. On dependent of the number of people that attend the shows and the merchandise is very difficult to recover that investment. And you could end up losing money. Most of the time you lose money, right? When you
Yeah, but like, thanks to for example, like the cost of the recording and studio is nothing, because everything is made at my studio. So like
I see. Yes.
and also I mix and master every album. So the fact is that we don't pay someone to do it. We do it.
Oh, yeah, you save
So
money that way.
yeah. This concept is like free for us, but also the cost is really like pressing the album, do the merchandising and all those
Yeah,
kind of things that we can't do ourselves. It's too complicated.
sure. When people attend the show, you have a table with merchandising,
Yeah,
t-shirts, CDs, vinyl, whatever, so people can
yeah,
buy your
definitely.
music after that, right? That's
Yeah,
what
yeah,
they.
we've done last year, or well, last time we tour in France. We had a few dates in France. We've done merch, especially for the tour, like on top of the album, some specific T-shirts, some cards, tarot oracle cards in relation with the theme of the last album. Few posters, few like that. And actually, yes, you're right. Nowadays, with all the streaming and all the, you can listen music everywhere, so you don't really make any revenue from selling album or online. So the only way is to sell merch when you're touring. But in the same way, it's really complicated to tour because it's really cost a lot nowadays as well. So it's just a circle, and you're around. And to tour, you need to find someone who helps you. So you need to be heard. So to be heard, you need to be online. And so that's a circle that, you never get out. But yeah, all that to say, yeah, nowadays the best way, the effective way to really to sell merch or things like that is, of course, to be, on stage.
Yeah.
Yeah. You mentioned that Spotify, you don't make any money and you need to have like 1 million hits to make $10 for a cup of coffee. But what about Bandcamp? Is good for you guys, or?
Bandcamp is the best. In my opinion. In my opinion, that's the best in the middle of all this streaming platform and stuff. Yeah, I used Bandcamp quite a lot.
I got it.
Yeah.
Yep. Good for you. Feel free to elaborate about the lyrics. Who is writing all the lyrics? How you go about it? You put the lyrics first, the music after, or it's a combination of the two of them? What comes first? Music, lyrics?
There's no rule. I wrote most of the lyrics. Few songs were written by Alex, or I think one or two by Eric. But I wrote, most of the lyrics. And there's absolutely no rule about after or before the music, because, Alex compose. Sometimes he can have, something he already put the music and he send it to me and I will write lyrics. Or sometimes I already have lyrics and I send it to him and, he just composes. There's absolutely no logic on that.
Yeah, the compositional process and the lyrics process is kind of something that is very, very instinctual. It's not something that we kind of think about. It's really something that we feel, like just a small idea or something that we elaborate after. And sometimes it can really, really takes time, and sometimes it's just like, for the Sweetheart Grips album, which the second one we made in 2019, I think, or 18. There is this song called Sweetheart Grips, the 10-minute song that I wrote in one night. Like the entire music was wrote in one night, and sometimes like 3 minutes music were written in 1 month. So it's just about how you feel the perfect balance between things, instruments, atmosphere, and also lyrics, of course, because Anne-Claire must have the same challenge, but in terms of lyrics, of course. So, yeah.
I got it. And then how often you guys get together with Anne-Claire? She go to a supermarket or going shopping and see an advertising, write some idea, write something in a notebook, and call you, Alex. Hey, I saw this ad and a book or whatever. I like the idea. And then how often you guys get together as a group to put all different elements?
Well, so far, most of the album we've done were concept album. So once we thought each other on our side of, any idea, any theme, things like that we want to explore, and once we agreed on the theme, the theme we wanted to explore. I mean, it was quite after that to me to find the story chapter by chapter, if I can say, song by song, and to write the lyrics. So it was, you know, the direction was already agreed. I think for 520, it wasn't really a concept album. It's all theme related, but not really a concept in the meaning of, you know, story will follow really a direction. So I just took every song like the atmosphere I was feeling and tried to make that quite in a poetic way, but metaphoric way, as I always do for Night Skies. But I think that's it. That just, you know, sometimes we can send a text or call each other and say, I think I have this idea, and, you know, the other one, sometimes we have the same. And the other one maybe agree or just, you know, give his other idea on that, and just once we have the theme, everything is.
Yeah, but the real like change between albums is just on the principle that every album must be really different. Like sometimes when we listen to Nine Skies, we can maybe feel that every album is kind of a universe, because, you know, if you compare the Lightmaker to 520, it's almost like it's not the same band that did it. So that's kind of sometimes a weakness or sometimes a strength. But when you take the liberty to to go wherever you want in the music or the lyrics, you don't care about if the previous album was this way or the next album will be this way. It's always in the moment. So when you have an idea, it's present here, and it will maybe not present in the next few months, you know. So you have to keep it there and elaborate at the moment. So that's how most of the work of Nine Skies are done, in this way, you know.
I got you.
The way you describe it, it's just make me say that it's just a kind of catharsis, actually. You know, Nine Skies is just our catharsis. So we don't really think of things must, you know, have been done or will be done, or we just, you know, let's express what we feel. And
I got you. The first album also, let's talk about the album. The Return Home from 2017. Relate through the eyes of a protagonist, the life of different characters for a contemporary big city. That's a kind of the metaphor for that particular album. And feel free to elaborate how you guys put together, how long did it take, and then are you doing self-release? You go to a record label?
We don't have any label. We start working with a friend who was used to have a great label. Was called Anesthetize, and unfortunately for us and for him, but the label has to stop. Maybe not forever, but at least for now the activity. So it was quite good for us to work with a friend. You know, we're able to do what we want in terms of composition. Alex was free to compose what he wants in the time he wants, no delay, no deadline, no. And Guillaume, which was the owner of the label, helped us a lot, like with the pressing and all that, to distribution as well, to sell the CD. So that's how we were able to start the first album, because of course the first one, you know, that's your debut album, you don't know very well yet. And then I think the second one, Sweetheart Drips, were with Anesthetize as well. And then that's when things start to change a bit, and then we have the chance to go through another friend, which got a great association, which is FTS Music. And then Michel helped us a lot, and it's still nowadays. So it's not a label. It's more an executive producer, which means we are still free to do whatever we want. Alex is free to compose what he wants. No deadline. I'm free to write what I want. And we're free to release what we want when we want. But I don't want, you know, to manage, or I couldn't manage all the sales or distribution, go to the post and send, you know, album and things like that. So that's what FTF is doing for us. So we're really lucky to have them. So we just doing music and launching our ideas for the merch and things like that, and they're taking care of everything for the the sales and the factory, the shipping. So that's wonderful for us.
Yeah. But it's also that the first album we kind of didn't know where we were going musically in some way, because at the beginning, like, nothing was very established in a way. So we just composed a lot of music, and if you can hear in the Return Home album, all the album is a concept album, but musically it goes to different direction. There is a kind of almost free jazz track. There is acoustic tracks. There are electric tracks. Like, we just wanted to explore what we can do with this kind of project. And when we did the second one, everything was going in one direction at every album. But the first one was kind of an exploration of all the seeds we can do. Like, also with Eric, because Eric and I were composing on this one and the other ones as well. So we knew each other for so much time, but we never composed an entire album together. So we wanted to do, and also, like, on the composition, there is one side, but there is also the side of the other musician, the oral musician of the band, that added their touch on the drums, on the bass, on the guitar, on the synth. Also, there was two vocalists on this album. The particularity of Nine Sky is that each album is almost sung by different people every time. So it's like, in 4 albums we had so many vocalists, which is also something interesting, because we can really, like, it's not a band per se. It's more like a project involving a lot of people. Like, there is a bubble of a band that is never going away, but we love to invite people on each album to get some texture, to get some new ideas, also vocally or musically. You can see with all the guests we invite in each album, like, started from Sweetheart Grips, we have so much more like Steve Hackett and Adam Holzman, Marco Minnemann on the latest, and everything. And it's so much value to the album, because everything is composed, but after we just send everything to everyone saying, you can do whatever we want. Well, not whatever, but most of the thing you can do whatever you feel about it. And it's always a great result. So we are very happy for that.
I saw the names on the latest album and are the best of the best, and I'm very good friend of Steve Hackett as well, and it's unbelievable that the way you put together. And then, of course, the year after, you put the Return Home special with alternative versions, right?
Yeah. So those versions are quite different, because those versions are the kind of you can say the most famous tracks of Nine Skies, maybe, the most important tracks that we decided to do orchestrally differently, or orchestral version. So I love to do orchestral version of tracks. So we just say, okay, and Eric was playing the violin as well. So we just say, what about just doing like 3 or 4 tracks with another complete different version? And that's also interesting to explore as well.
Good for you. That both the original version and the extended edition version are very good. And then the year after, you end up producing Sweetheart Grips, right?
Yeah.
And of course, there's a practice referred to dating back to the Second World War, so they were known to take precious family photos and sometimes take their life, and which is very difficult. And people come from the war, they're suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, and so the war is very complicated. There's a very good album as well. So feel free to elaborate about.
Yeah, you see, for instance, we are talking about who comes with what ideas. For Sweetheart Grips, Alex came with this idea, with this theme of Sweetheart Grips and what it means, and the story and the theme we could go around to make the concept album. So it really depends on there's no rule on which album we're doing, so it can be one or the other. We just, like a fusion. We're just working really together each time.
Yeah, it's really like you said, Claudio, about seeing an advertisement and having an idea. When I found the idea of sweetheart groups, it's just because I came about to see an article about this type of practice that they used to do in World War II, where the soldiers were attaching those little pictures of their wife in their pistol. So as we like to play with paradoxes in Nine Skies, like this is the ultimate paradox for me, to just kill people with the love of their life attached to it, the weapon. So this was so much interesting to explore. So just this idea, we came to all of the story of this album, and it's maybe the darkest album we did in terms of atmosphere and everything. Also with Eric, of course. Yeah, that was very dark album in terms of production and composition. I remember that we spent a lot of people and a lot of time doing it, and also it's the first album that we invited some people like Craig Blundell from Steven Wilson and everything.
Of course.
Yeah, and also I don't remember if you remember Anne Claire.
Yeah, there was Clive Nolan. There were
Clive Nolan,
a
yes.
lot of people. Actually, what we were talking about, that's the first one we started inviting guests, but there was a reason for that. That was because we wanted to give all the funds from this album to charities. To a specific charity, actually. And then that's why we invited all these guests at the beginning. That wasn't really, to say, okay, Night Guys will, do guests, name on the album or like that. That just we are thinking, okay, what's the best way for us? We're not big band, and we want to raise funds for this charity. And, well, let's try and see if some famous people can help. And it started like that, basically.
Exactly.
That's a very good album. Very different from the first one. And I'm glad the money went to charities and you included all these artists and you mentioned. In terms of being, in general term, to being a musician, what's the best part about being a musician, and what is the worst part, if you can say a worst part, because if you don't know selling record and you cannot tour that much, you want to show your art, your work to the whole of the world, but perhaps not many people will attend a show, but you were born to be a musician, so you're still doing it because that's your passion and you like. How you go about that kind of stuff?
Well, being a musician has a lot of advantages. Like it's a great life. I like being a living as a musician is also, we can always say that it's hard to be a musician because it's really hard to live as a musician, of course.
Yeah.
Because life is not made like as a society to be a musician all your life. Like everything is here to give you limits for that. But in a way, if you take the full passion of music, and even with the obstacles of life, you pursue, you do a pursuit of this passion, it's always clear that you have to continue. It's kind of a need to continue because you have some things to express every time, because it's more not about music, it's about art in general. It's about expression. Like if you have to say something, you must not be like limited by life or the obstacles of life. There is always a way to express yourself. Also in 2025, you can express yourself in so many different ways and accessible. Like, for you, for your podcast, it's so diverse and accessible in YouTube. So everyone can do that now. So there is no limit, So of course it's a great life, but also the worst part, I would say, is maybe everything that I feel about it is that sometimes it's too much. There is too much information going on, too much, not too much music, but sometimes I try to not listen to a lot of albums as well, because creating music and listening to music for me are really different things. When you're listening to music, you are completely out of the creation part. But for me, when I listen to music, I have to imagine things I could create with that. So the more I listen to music, the more I want to create music. So what I do is that I try to listen to 1 or 2 albums, maybe per month or 2 months, and I try to really delve into it because there is so much music going out, so much artists that are new. Of course, we are part of the equation, but sometimes I'm kind of allergic to too much information in internet and everything. So that's, being a musician in 2025, you have to be a part of this and to kind of get a balance of that. That's my take on it. That's just that. But
I think that's a general thing. I think that's just the reflex of the society nowadays. We're overwhelmed.
yeah,
We're overwhelmed by everything. So many information coming from everywhere. You're watching the TV, you're watching the internet. You don't have 5 minutes to just, cut off, and we're totally harassed by information all the time, and we don't even notice anymore. So that's just we're just changing our way to we're adapting to this society, and we're like living, and we're being used to live like that. But I mean, that's still overwhelming, really.
Yeah, and also for the part of being a musician in 2025, we are forced to not be only a musician, which was not the way before. Because when you are a musician in 2025, you are also forced to be an engineer. You are forced to do your own advertisement. You have to be multitasking in every way, and which was not the case when you were a musician in before internet or television, because people were taking care of that. Now you have to take care of so much different other aspects than just being a musician or a composer, which is definitely not my my best thing to do. I love to compose music and to record music, but after that, like Anne-Claire is doing so much great job about it, but if I were to do it myself, I would not succeed as a musician, or I would not be able to go out in the world this way. I'm not I'm not this type of person, so it's kind of hard in this way.
Yeah. At the same time, many musicians have told me that since I'm not a musician, for me, I listen to a lot of music. I mean, many hours during the week, right? And I buy a lot of music. I mean, I have a big music collection. So for me, I'm always exploring, listening, discovering new bands, and so forth. But for you guys, right? Musicians tell me that, well, I try not to listen to music because if I'm a rock, right?
Well, Alex is like that.
That might influence me.
I'm more like you. I'm more listening to a lot, and
Yeah, you are.
every day, and that's the point. We're a bit not the same with Alex, but I mean, I totally get what he says, and but I mean, he's doing the composition,
Sure.
I'm doing the lyrics part. So I mean, I think I gather what he's saying, and for me, it's a pro to listen to a lot of various things, So I'm more like you. I'm listening to a lot of any style, any genre, anytime I find something new. Oh, what is it? Just to be curious. And on top of that, I have to, because of my job as well. I'm doing music promotion, so I have to. I have to stay aware of what's going on as well. But yeah, so I'm more like you. I'm listening to a lot of stuff as soon as I can. Yeah.
But musician needs people like Anne-Claire, and for you, Claudio, like for me, I just talk about my personal feeling about it, because of course, the more music out in the world, the better, because everyone has something to say. It's just for my part, I am in kind of a paradoxal thing where I want to be curious, but I feel very overwhelmed very quickly about new music. So I'm more like someone that will, listen to one album like for 2 months straight just to get every aspect of the album and go to another than just listening to a lot of music. I have a high sensibility on that, It's just how I work, But yeah, it's
Sure.
great that you don't do the same thing as me.
Yeah. No, and especially so like a good example will be like Spotify, right? For your artist point of view, people play your music for free and you don't get any money. For me, I pay like a $10 a month or whatever it is, and I consume a lot of stuff. And from there, I do research in the band, I do an interview, I buy the music because I buy a lot of music. My music collection is huge. I have 4 floors of music, stereos, Dolby Atmos in the second floor and the third floor. It's because music is an important part of my life. So I buy a lot of music, I discover a lot of music, and I listen to a lot of it. When I'm working in the background during the weekend, I go to a lot of concerts because that's an important part of my life.
Yeah, concerts are so great to go. I go
Yeah,
to so much concert as well. Yeah. It's the live
yeah,
part of that, the live like the concert needs to stay alive. Like the concert aspect of
mm,
music is kind of the best way to experience music. That's why I prefer to attend to a concert instead of listening to a CD or something, because like the live part, sometimes I hate a band in a CD, but when I see the band live, it's complete new experience, and I say, okay,
absolutely.
now I get it.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
I
yeah,
completely, I'm with you. It's a
yeah,
beautiful thing to listen to. Then in a couple years later, you end up releasing the live album
yeah,
uh,
yeah.
in 2021, which is another very, very good album. Man.
Yeah, well, like in this live album, we were kind of criticized by the quality of it, because it was a festival that we did in the north of France, in a town called Chartres, and it was a prog festival that we played with. It was Mystery, I think, was headlining,
Yeah.
and yeah. And it was recorded, like the festival recorded it, and they sent us the thing, but it was not the separate tracks. It was all the masters of it.
I
So
got it.
I tried, to get a better quality, but when you don't have the separate tracks, you can't do too much to the mix parts and everything. But we still wanted to release it because it was a great performance by everyone in the band, and the crowd was so great, and it was just a way to symbolize the live part of Nine Skies, and it was just such a great memory that we wanted to, just to.
Yeah, that's much more a bootleg, we can say,
Yeah, yeah,
than really a live proper album. But as Alex said, it was such a great memory for a lot of reasons. So we really
yeah.
wanted to release that, and actually it's sold out, and we haven't done any other pressing since, because it was like a special limited edition as a
Yeah.
bootleg. Like, okay, we want the memory to be there, but yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of, yeah, it's a memory reminder, just that.
I got you. I got you. Got you. And then, of course, 2 years later came the Line Maker, which is I don't know, maybe for you it's not the best album, but for me it's the best album you ever done.
Before that, we released an album called 520. I
Oh,
don't
I
know
didn't
if
know
you
that.
had the acoustic one.
Oh, yeah. Got it. Yeah,
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 you're
yeah.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the acoustic one, and this one was the first one that we invited Steve Hackett to play, because
Yeah.
maybe you can tell the story about Steve Hackett, Anne-Claire.
Yeah, actually, we were saying that on Sweetheart Grips, we invited a lot of guests in order to get some name and funds for the charity. So, of course, in the list of people I was, going through, there was Steve Hackett, and unfortunately, he was touring. Well, he's always touring, actually, but so he
Yeah.
was touring as usual. And he nicely answered me, well, I love the music and I love the idea and, helping a charity and all that. I would be delighted to do it, but I'm on tour for months and I can't do it. So contact me later, contact me later if you're doing another album or thing like that. And we were thinking, well, yes, but so, okay. After that, we released 520 and, I just contacted him and I said, do you remember us? And he said, yeah, of course. Send me 2 tracks or send me tracks. He said, send me a track and I will, listen to it. And we decided to send him 2 tracks. So he had the choice, and he chose one right away. And
Wow.
he asked us what he would have to do, and we laughed and said, no, we can't say to Steve, I can't do that or do that. So we just say, do whatever you want, and he did such an amazing thing. So that was, I remember that day and we received the thing just when he said yes, actually I have the Facebook memories today of Nine Skies, and that was today that we announced that he was on the album. So that's quite funny, but I think that's one of the most beautiful moments in the Nine Skies memories for me, because Steve Hackett, it's like, and then his solo is just like in the Genesis, early area, and I absolutely love it. I think this album, I don't know, for me, this album 520 is like a turning point. I don't know. I'm not saying it's start to be better than the previous one, but for me, it started to be really something. I don't know. I don't have the word. Something else. I have this song Porcelain Hill on this album that Damian Wilson sings, that I love, absolutely love. I just love the atmosphere of the album. I love the vocals of Ashraf. I love the atmosphere he put into it. The parts of Alienor on top of that, and all the acoustic atmosphere that Alex put into that with Eric. That was just so airy. That's why all the lyrics are so, and even the artwork. When I contacted Michael Cheval to ask about this painting for the artwork, I wanted everything to be so dreamy and so metaphoric, so just like everyone can just dream and make their own interpretation of things. And I think we really managed to do that from this album with the acoustic part, and that I think we managed to go on, and Alex managed to go on with the Lightmaker as well, but on the electric side of way.
Got you. It's a very great album. Every album is very, very good. And of course, you were mentioned about 520. You end up releasing the special edition again in 2022 with the CD and DVD that had like a nice brochure with 12 pages and booklets. So I need to get copies of that for my collection here. So
I don't know if it's still available, and Claire, on this edition.
I think maybe we still have 1 or 2, because STF is managing the stock, so I'm not really sure, but we managed to send you one, of course.
Yeah,
you need to sign it though.
No.
I want to pay for it for my collection.
You know what? I have few copies of few albums I don't remember in a garage somewhere. So if I get contacting you, if you get to contact me, I can send you things. If you want.
That would be great, because I'm always, and I wanna at least pay for the postage or something. You don't have to. You don't need to.
Don't worry, don't worry. It's a gift. It's a gift.
Thank you, everything for, and that's all the artwork that particular album has. I was seeing the picture has like a 12. It's like a big booklet inside with a lot of drawing and picture and nice text. Who you hire a company to do it? You do it yourself?
Both. I think as the lyrics are quite important to go with the music and to express something.
Sure.
A story. I think the visual is quite important too, and I always want to give quite a lot of importance to the visual. And I start working on ideas. I get some stuff. Most of the stuff with Alex, we we work together on that, on the basis, you know. And once we've got the template of what we want, really, even pictures or just ideas, but we often come with some material, but some ideas and all that. Then we're going to Steve Anderson, which is a brilliant genius designer. He's the brilliant musician as well. He's the guitarist from The Room, the British band The Room, and he's got his own project solo as well. So you might have a listen. He's a brilliant guitarist. And he's doing, beautiful artwork and visual for musician and all that. So I'm just, used to work with him for years now. And that's like with Alex, we're getting so well. We understand each other so very well. And then I just talk to him about, the stories, what I imagine. I send him the picture and I said, you see, that's kind of like that. But at the end, it's never the same at all. And he's doing a great job, and he's doing everything in the format, for the factory, you need to have a specific format and all that. So thanks to him, that's like a bit like FTF, we would not be able to do anything without Steve as well, because, you have to you can't just make an artwork like that. You have to follow rules and things are very, very tight. So we're very lucky. As I said, we're very lucky to have all these people around us, of course, all the listeners and the support, but as well, all the people that help us to make everything we're doing.
Gotcha. And of course, the 520 XL, right? The extended edition for the 2024 also is very good. It's good that you do that you say you release an album and then other, when you play live or you have like alternative version, you have like a more extended version or a prog, and you end up releasing to the public, and so the people can buy the original,
Well, actually, that wasn't
and then the extended edition, so which is very good.
That wasn't the purpose to make people buy another one. That just we were sold out, and as we said, we don't really manage all this side of of things, or distribution and sales, and just the guys told us, well, because we have to press a new one anyway. Do you have more songs so we can do something different? Add. Then that's came the idea. So that's why we did that. But I think that's a great thing for people to be able to listen to more songs and more versions. Yeah.
Sure, absolutely. So what is coming up for you? Are you guys working a new album?
We
2025 album.
Yeah, after the Lightmaker, after the release of the Lightmaker in 2023, the last one, which was a big album, a big album with a lot of for so many different reasons, it was a big album. We are working on a new release, which I don't know where it will be released, but we are working on it with a complete new concept, which is something we've never done before. Do we say that, Anne-Claire, or don't we say that?
I think we can take the chance to have you today to make the exclusive premiere, and
we can.
I asked him earlier, and he said, "Yeah, I can announce it, so you can."
Okay. Well, so you will maybe announce a thing about vocals after, but for the concept of the album, which is something really crazy that we've never done before, the album will just be one song, and one song of maybe 45 minutes.
Wow.
So it will be really one song, which will be divided into parts, but the part will be connected because you will find themes and chord progressions and rhythm that will be you will hear maybe 10 minutes before, and you will hear it again, which is kind of a film in one song. But really, it's not like because the Lightmaker was a concept album with you can listen to it from the beginning to the end, but every song is different. Like for this one, the song will be a global unity. So really, you will you have to listen to it in one take to get it, you know. So, but it takes a lot of time because we already did a full skeleton of the song, but like a lot of parts has to be rearranged and to be discussed with everyone and everything. But the theme is just this one song, and I let Anne-Claire to talk about it.
Well, I don't know if you want to talk about the theme yet, but actually we have, as you said earlier, we have a lot of various vocalists since the beginning. And on the last album we did with one specific vocalist, we had the chance to have Ashraf on 520, which is a brilliant young artist that I highly recommend to listen if you don't yet. He's in Morocco and he's got his own project which is named Ashelas. So you should really check on Facebook. He's doing everything, every instrument. He's doing even the mix sometimes, and he released so much music, and his voice is just amazing. So that's why, of course, we had him on 520. And on the Light Maker, each song was, because of the theme of the album, each song was sung by a different singer. So now we're on the next album and we're like, okay, what are we doing now for the vocals? Because, well, yes, we have a new vocalist actually, and we haven't announced it yet, but it was kind of when we were supposed to tour in the UK, which has been postponed. So the next vocalist on the new record will be Charlie Bramald, which is the singer of, well, a lot of things at the moment, but Ghost of the Machine, Edge of Destruction, and he's a friend for a long time. He's a lovely guy, and of course he's an amazing singer. And we love his voice, we love his his spirit, we love everything in this guy. He's really talented. And when we did the Light Maker, we asked him to sing one song, and which was called The Haunted. And when we received the song with Alex, I can remember we were so moved by his voice and by the work he did on that and on the lyrics. And that was just a love story was born because Charlie loved that so much as well. And so it was for us just natural, to wait for him to be able to schedule in his busy calendar between all these bands a slot for us. But he was really happy to do it, and then he will be on the next album, and we're really happy about that. I'm really looking forward to it because his voice is really specific, and I think that would be beautiful, right?
And is the possibility of once the album is released and you have promotion to tour that album, to at least tour a little bit in Europe, at least in France, or?
Well, we don't have any dates at the moment, but we will wait after the album is finished to get maybe some dates if we can. We tried to tour, but the best way is to get one thing at a time, and just to not rush things, because also the band is in one half is here where I live in France, and one other half is where Anne-Claire lives in the UK. So to get together to rehearse and everything, it's kind of another story.
Wow.
Yeah. And more after what Anne-Claire said, which is a new vocalist, which is Charlie, which is also in the UK. Like the other guitarists and also the clavierist are here, so 3 members, and also the 4 other members are in the UK. So you are split almost in half for that. So yeah.
I UK is great. I go to London very often, like 3 times a year.
Great.
Oh, wow, great.
So I'm going to be attending a couple classes at Peter Gabriel's studio, Real World.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully working with him in a couple projects. We'll see what happened there. But we'll see. But I go to UK office. There are a lot of great bands everywhere. So many bands, they don't come here to the United States. So I take like a week off every so often, and and try to see as many concerts as I can in especially London, but I go everywhere.
Yeah, there's
But,
a lot of music here. The live scene is amazing here. So yeah.
It's an amazing, very expensive to live in
Yeah.
London. But we try to. Feel free to elaborate where people can buy your music. Mentioned your Bandcamp, your website.
Yeah, everything is on the Facebook or on the website. You know, if you just go for Nice Guys, you will have all the links. Everything is just listed. So either people prefer, you know, go on Facebook or website or Bandcamp or YouTube or wherever.
Yeah. And I will be putting the link so people can listen to the podcast. Can buy your music. That's the main idea, to help you guys. It was very nice talking to you. You guys are doing great music. Looking forward to seeing the CDs and when you send them and listen to your music and help in any way I can. From here, feel free to when the new album is ready. Happy to do a follow-up interview so we can promote the album and promote your music, and hopefully people will be attending your gigs or coming tours once the new album is ready.
That was lovely to chat with you, and thanks for reaching out to me, because that was really that's always nice when someone come and answer. I love your music, so that's thank you.
Thank you, Claudio.
Merci beaucoup. Vive la France.
Parfait.
Thank you, Claudio. That was so great. Thank you so much.